Hello, hello. We are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome on Beam Corner channel. It's our first live session, first live workshop of Beam Corner. After 6 years of doing our blog, finally we did it. Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Hello, Chris.
Konrad
Yes.
Fugas, are you here?
Yep, yes, I'm here. Hello, guys. I hear you very well. Do you hear us?
I can hear you. Konrad Naborczyk,
Yes.
another Beam
Loud
Corner
and
member.
clear.
And the last one but not least, our Mr. B.
Yes, I'm here.
Good, much.
Please let us know if you can hear us well. We can see people from all around the world. Hello, good evening. So as I said in the beginning, so we have people from all the world. We have people from Norway, Cameroon. Nice. Okay, everyone hear us well. Just before we'll start exactly in just 2-3 minutes. Before that, if you can just write in chat, what are your biggest challenges with OpenBIM? Just write on the chat what are the biggest challenges with IFC, with open formats. So it will be also easier for us to adjust the level of the presentation. So please, if it's IFC, if it's terminology, if it's checking, validation, or exporting, importing files, so please let us know. And before going to presentation, we'll make also round between us. So maybe Ignacy, you can start and introduce a little bit yourself, who you are, and what are you doing for a living today.
For living. Good. Thanks, Chris, for this quick intro. So basically, my name is Ignacy Łaziński. I'm a BIM manager, BIM coordinator with over 12 years of experience managing different kind of projects from hospitals, educational buildings like schools and universities to metro projects. On Beam Corner, I'm specializing and I try to focus my writing skills on the topic related to BIM coordination, to BIM management. So everything that I know from the industry, working, as I said, 12 years in my from different countries, Poland, UK, and Norway, I try to write about it on our Beam Corner blog. So thanks again, Chris, for this warm welcome.
Cool. We really recommend all the materials created by Ignacy. Amazing stuff about BIM coordination. And next in the list, Konrad Fugas. Hello, Konrad. Just please, what have you been writing about on our BIM Corner for the last 6 years?
Yeah, it's been a couple of different topics. Mainly, I focus on data and data management, but also there's been some articles about ISO 19650 and OpenBIM also. Yeah, I'm also BIM manager. I work on especially public-owned projects like hospitals or cultural big buildings. But I also have experience from a construction site, running as a site engineers when it's raining and cold weather. So yeah, this kind of gives that perspective of not only what's inside in front of the computer, but also what the guys on the construction site are fighting with.
Perfect. Konrad is our expert from IDS and requirements. So if you have any challenges with that, so please write in the comments, and for sure we are going to try to explain the topic more in depth. Okay, thank you. And Marcin, just please in just two sentences, what are you working with and what kind of articles you've been writing on Beam Corner?
Hello again. Hi, guys. My name is Marcin. I'm based in Poland, working in the software industry, acting as a product manager on a daily basis. But on Beam Corner, I'm trying to help people to understand IFC, especially IFC 4.3. main domain is infrastructure. So I'm focusing mainly about this BIM aspects around the infrastructure domain. So if you have any questions regarding that, just let me know and I can hopefully help you with your issues. So thank you.
Yeah, and Marcin will start our workshop with the basics understanding of IFC. And last but not least, Konrad Naborczyk.
Hello to everyone. Here's Konrad. Currently, I work as a contractor. Previously, I worked also as a designer, and I used to think that IFC is only for one part of this, group in the IEC, like designers. But working as a contractor, I see that it's important for us also to understand it, and as well for the clients, for investors. So this will be a great journey for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And my name is Krzysztof Wojsław. You can call me Chris. I'm an online educator, been working as a bridge designer, now focusing on educating people, everything connected with programming in AEC industry and automation. And today we are going to show you all the workshop, all the workflow about how to fight with the challenges in OpenBIM. So let's go to our presentation and let's start it. We are live on 3 channels. We are live on Facebook, we are live on LinkedIn, and we are live on YouTube. If you are watching on one of these platforms, please give a like. It will really help us, our blog to grow and to reach more audience. So let's start with our workshop. We call it Workshop 0, 5 steps to finally understand OpenBIM. And we ask you this question at the start because we would like to explain this topic more in depth. We make a survey for what are the biggest challenges of our subscribers. And we decided to make this workshop and finally to make workshop series for all BIM users who feel lost in the OpenBIM workflow. If you are still feel like a maze, you don't get all the BIM jargon, you don't know all the roles in the OpenBIM, you don't have any clear checklist. So this workshop is for you. And we have lots of comments about export. So there's lots of people are still having problem with export, and Legend says that someone made IFC export at the first time and everything worked. So today we also show you some tips and tricks how to avoid these big mistakes about missing properties, wrong types, so all the data chaos. Every tool behaves differently, so we are going to show you today also how to do it smarter and in the better way. Who we are? We are BIM Corner blog. We are the global leaders. We've been running, as I know, the biggest BIM blog about BIM technology. We've made 300 articles. It's amazing. I just checked some statistics. Over past 6 years, we've been posting every single week. Every single Wednesday, you get a new article on BIM Corner. And it's made by BIM practitioners. We've been working most of us in Norway, in country where BIM is most advanced in the world. So today's workshop will be about 120 minutes, 2 hours. Recording will be available to watch later, but just only for 8 days. So please don't postpone it to watch it later. You can scan this code if you haven't received, if you're watching that on Facebook or LinkedIn and you haven't received YouTube link. So please scan this code so you will get recording and materials. So we will share the presentation with all registered users. And this workshop we made live for you. So if you have any questions, we have Konrad who is going to maintain all the questions. So please write it and we will try to answer all the questions. And one last thing I would like to say that it's really worth to waiting until the end. We have a gift for all of you. It's something that we have been working for the last year. Actually, whole 2025 we spent on something that we are going to announce. And without further ado, let's jump into first topic. So Marcin Pszczółka, our IFC master, person who knows everything about IFC, will take the stage. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris, for giving me this opportunity to start. So this is a huge privilege, guys, to talk to you about the topic I'm really passionate about. So today, in the very short period of time, because I have around 15 minutes, I would like to explain you some bases about IFC. So probably everyone knows that IFC could be overwhelming. We have a lot of abbreviation, a lot of definitions that are describing the IFC and all this different information that it contains. But what you need to know, of course, IFC is not just a file, is of course the standard. We write it down with the use of the step extension. We have entities, we have classes, we have attributes, we have a representation. As you see, there is a lot to talk about. But I would like to just in a short period of time explain you what you should focus on when you start with IFC. So when you start thinking about IFC, you always think about the objects. So one main pillar, or the first main pillar in this schema, is objects. So objects could be also described in a different way. We have a spatial element, and this is, for example, building story, site, road parts, everything that could contain some other objects. Then we have another group, it's called IFC element. And here you can easily find objects like IFC wall, IFC column, IFC distribution chamber, all these objects that also has geometry in addition. Then we have annotation. This is a more virtual object that also help us to describe in some other extension our models. And also we have alignment. So this is the examples of the object definitions that which is described by IFC. But then, as you probably know, and probably this is the typical use case, that you use IFC because you have this very rich way of describing BIM models with some properties. So another definitions that it's also well known in IFC, it's the property definitions. And here I mean all property sets, properties, quantity sets, everything that has the not geometrical information. So this is the second pillar. But we cannot forget about the third pillar, which is a relation. So this is more, we can describe it more as a glue between the object and property definitions. So to basically connect properties to objects, we need to use relation. And of course we have several types of relations. Another could be another are used, for example, in the decomposition or in aggregation, when we have for example this project tree. When you open any viewer and you see this project structure, IFC project, IFC site, IFC building story. So this is one type of the relations that are between these objects. But for example, if you have a properties connected to object, it's another type. So there is several types of relationships that you also should be aware that that exist. So as I also said, IFC is a standard, but we want to also write it down somewhere. And the step format, it's basically helping us to describe this information in the text file. So if you take any IFC file, you can easily open in the notepad, in the text editor, in the text viewer, and see all this different lines, various lines containing some information. So in this session, I would like to show you some examples and also present some brief introduction to how you could interpret this information contained in the file. So I will take as an example what I already described. So how to connect property sets to the objects, how we can do it. So when we have two entities, so the first one is IFC class, it could be IFC wall, IFC course, IFC beam, IFC slab, and then we have a property set, so we need to connect them somehow. And then we use the relation, and this type of relation, it's called, I just put it as a general term, IFC rel, but it's in the fact it's real defined by properties. You will find in a second how you can write it down. And then at the end, of course, property set has some properties, and these properties also are connected to the property set. So this is the main concept of how to attach your properties to the object. So we go through property set, which is kind of connected through relations to the class. When we open step file, you can find this kind of explanation, this information you can in the file. So as you can see here, we have this one general class. In this case, is a building element proxy and has a ID number here, and this ID number is then connected to the to our definitions, to our relation, and this relation also shows how it's connected to the so class, and so class is included, the main class having the object definition is connected through this relation with the property sets. So this is a very typical framework how you should read the step files. And as you also see, this is the something on the top, very here is the information that about the different attributes that you also have in IFC. But for us in this particular lesson, you have to understand that each element is connected to property sets through the relation, and the information about this connection is included in on the relation level. And at the end, you can also see that we have information about the properties directly in a property set. So it's built up for any property set. This is the main idea behind, and this helps us also to organize or include more properties, attach them to the objects, many objects or just one object. So this is the mechanism behind. So if you see the information and properties in your viewer, this is how it's done. So now I also want to show you some real examples, because of course the theoretical part, it's sometimes very difficult to understand if we don't have some practical examples. So I would like to just show you three different methods or three different viewers, how you can track this information and how you can edit your model by punching in some values that could be then viewed again in different circumstances. So let's jump back to my models, or to my models and in the viewers. So as you see, I have a prepared bridge model, and this bridge model, of course, has a certain project structure. So you have an IFC project, IFC site, IFC bridge part, and so on. And under bridge part, you have some other elements. And when I click on, for example, I just put some examples on the objects. So when I click on this column here, so you will see that I have a property set called with the two properties called discipline as a bridge and element as a column. So this is the information I attached to my column. So let's also jump to another, because here we can, it's a difficult to find the proper information about how to, if I, for example, want to add one extra information, I should also have more information about object itself. So of course, one way is to open the notepad directly and just search for the some common or some typical information. But I can also show you a very nice viewer. It's called RDF. At the end, I can also just send you a link to how to download, and you have the same approach, but in this case you have an IFC site, IFC bridge, IFC bridge part. And when I click on any object, you also get information about all the attributes. As I said, every class has own attributes, all attributes. And also I can right click on this and see explore instances references for this specific object. And when I open it, I have also more geek nerd information that I'm looking for. So here I can see that my column has also some two relations, that one is pointing to the property set, another is pointing to the structure itself, so how it's contained, so how it's connected, for example, to bridge structure. But for me, the most important is this information. So I know that now that this specific object has the relation, so has a property sets. So now I really want to know what ID number this particular property set has. So I can also do it by clicking again on the object. And when I open IFC properties, I see that some of them, they have information I'm looking for. So when I'm click on this object and again click on the property set name, I see the ID number that I'm looking for. So this is for me information. So the example I want to show you, so how we can now add just one simple property to our object, and can we do it very quickly, or we need to use some post-processing, some extra tools? And my answer is that you can do it very quickly in the notepad, and of course there is a more tools, but I want to just show you the concept, the main concept, how it's done. So I just now jump back to the notepad. So this is the same file. And as you see, this file is huge, having a lot of definitions, a lot of concepts, a lot of class. Is a huge. But now how to really find the property set I want to edit and how to add the property. So as you remember, with this viewer, now I can easily track some the information that are unique. And but I can just start with by clicking on Control F on my keyboard, and I can just start to type IFC column. So then I will find all columns in my model, and I see that I have 4 of them. And as you remember, I wanted to edit one of them. So let's take this one. So this is the something I want to edit this time. And now let's see, or maybe no, the first one. We will take the first one. Now I can search for another thing. So I will search for IFC rel defines. As you remember, we need now find some relation that help us to connect property sets. So this is rel defines, and we can now search for the column here. So this is my first ID, and I can easily find that this relations is used for this specific object to connect the property sets. So now the last thing I need to find, of course, IFC prop property set. How much I have them? I have 5 of them, and this is great. So I can also see, and in this case, I should find information that this about, as you remember, so this is the specific object, and now I need to find this property set. So this property set is what I'm looking for. So I can double click on that. So this is the property set I'm going to edit. And of course, I know that I need to add, based on my experience and my knowledge, I know that I need to add some extra ID in this line. But how to add this line? And to not demolish my file, I need to go to the very end of it. So I go here, and I need to just type the new number for my property. And I can easily also maybe find another example of properties. So IFC, let's say property. So I can just find any of this, and you see there is something called property single value. So I will just take the whole line and copy, and at the end I will just add this here, and I need to put the new number 186 like this, and just put the whole line. But in this case, I want to change it to new property type, designer, and I will call it margin. So this is my new property that I want to add to my property set, but I need to go back to my property set I wanted to edit. And as you remember, it was that one, probably. Let me remember, 409. Yes, it was that one. So I need to add the new number here. And my number, I need to just copy from the place. I have it. And this is the whole procedure. So I added new property. I found all the links. So I'm quite sure that this is the property set I'm looking for. I added property. And now when I save it and I open again my model, then I should find it very easily, the information that should be now added to my column. So let's see. And you see, this is the column I'm looking for, and I have information designer with the value margin. So this is how it is. So again, just to repeat, we have object, we have a relation, and we have a property set that we should be aware of. So if we want to add the properties, we need to be sure that every information is correctly described. But as you see, this is a very simple way of doing that. And remember that, of course, you can do it in a more automatic way, but hopefully you understood the principles. And let's try now go further to the next part. So thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And I would like
you.
to now.
Thank you, Martin. Yeah, just so you can just stay on the line. We have Dennis that at the beginning started that it will be great to see some bridge examples. So I think you choose a great one and explaining. And yeah, we have comments from Ivan. Great explanation, Martin. So I think it was a good start for everyone who would like to start with IFC to get the basic. And let's go to the next topic, where I'm going to invite Konrad Fugas. The stage is yours. So now we can go to the second step, which is requirements.
Yes. Hello, everybody, one more time. So Martin showed us what is IFC schema, what is used for, and how it looks inside. So let's now move on to another open format, actually the most fresh one, let's say it. It's called IDS, Information Delivery Specification. This is the schema or the workflow, OpenBIM workflow graph that describes all the process. So we start here where the red mark is. We start from the requirements, And during the rest of this presentation, we will go around all this graph. And the basic truth about the requirements and also about the building projects is that every project is different, and that is obvious. And that is also fine because we build different buildings. But the harsh truth is that every model is also different, and often on the same project. And I mean different data-wise. And that is worse because thinking about data, every project should be the same. So what do we get as a result? Total information chaos. Nobody outside their own bubble, their own discipline, knows what's what. And so we spend hours clicking and cross-checking the data that should have actually been aligned from the day one. So I think the root problem with understanding the data and the open standards is not the geometry. It's the inconsistent data because it costs time, causes errors, and kills automations. So how have we been trying to fix this? By creating project standards, templates, and spreadsheets. And that worked for many years. Every project defines its own rules, hoping everyone in the project will follow them. So the projects are offering a standardization as a solution to the main problem. But at the same time, they were creating a bunch of other challenges connected with creating those standards because they had to be created and they were created manually. They were static and Excel PDFs. So one change means redoing everything. You dig through IFC schema documentation, coordinate with design teams, write description, define formats, and then if something changes along, you have to start over. Also, Excels and PDFs are great for humans, but computers cannot read them in an automatic way. So that means double the work. We first have to create the requirements and then translate them so that computers or the BIM software understand those requirements. So again, we end up doing the same thing twice. And then repeating this over and over throughout the whole design and construction phase. So what if we create requirements that could be both human-friendly and machine-readable? So that after we define a set of requirements, our validation software can understand the same document that we can read and attach to the contract. And that's where the IDS comes in. IDS, which stands for Information Delivery Specification, is an open free standard from Building Smart. It defines exactly what data each IFC object needs using XML that's structured, clear, and ready for validation. And you can even print it as a PDF and attach it to your contract so everyone's on the same page. So IDS turns your requirements spreadsheet into a living, machine-readable rulebook. So now let's unpack how IDS looks inside. And don't worry, it's simpler than it sounds. And we have very little time for that. So I will just dash through all those different parts. So first, each document has two sections: applicability, that defines which elements from the IFC model should be selected for checking. So in other words, it works as a filter applied to the whole IFC model. And then requirements, and that specifies what conditions the selected elements must meet. Then we build those two sections from 6 building blocks called facets. It's entity, so what type of object it is, for example, IFC door. Then attribute, which is core metadata fields assigned directly to IFC classes, like type name. Then property, information tied individually to each IFC entity, for example, fire rating, classification that handles industry or project-specific classifications, like Uniclass, material, so what this object is made of, and part of, so what system or zone it belongs to. And as the last step, you require that data in the model meet one of those value conditions. So any value, exact value, no value, list of values, bounded values, length, regex pattern. It also depends what software supports what. So IDS basically transform this the script requirements description into a machine readable format. So let's make it real and try it on a spot. There are multiple software available on the market that allows us to create an IDS. Today, I will use a free version of ASBIM to transform descriptive requirements into an IDS. And here on the screen, you see an example of requirements. All doors in the model must have property fire rating, and the property value must be one of 30, 60, 90, 120, 180 or minutes, or NR for not required. So if we transform this text into the table, that it might be a little bit easier for us to understand how to build up the IDS and how it should look into the software. Yes, so now let me move to open ASBIM software, and we transform this table into the requirements. So here we are on the screen, IFC masterclass folder. Yes, so guys, this one here. So we open ASBIM, we click on the new document, and then in the search box, we look for IDS. We write title, OpenBIM masterclass, create a file. Here we have some general data. Let's give it the title, OpenBIM. Today it's 25th. My email, version 1, milestone detail design, copyright BIM corner, of course. Let's leave purpose empty and description. Sorry. Yeah, requirements for fire rating values for all doors. So here we have general data filled out. Oops. Now we go to specification, and we click on the plus to add some specifications. So we define first some general data, which is name. Let's check doors fire rating, check. Description, instruction, and identifier we can leave for now. IFC version, let's choose IFC 4. Yes, so now we have the general data filled in. So now we move on to the filters. So this is where we specify applicability section. So we have here a drop down, model must contain, may contain, or must not contain entities. So we choose model must contain entities, and we click here on a plus, and we filter by IFC class because it goes for IFC door. We leave predefined type empty. So we specified applicability here. So now we go to requirements. And again, we click on plus, and now we choose property, because fire rating is a property and not, for example, an attribute. And so we click on property, and the model must have property fire rating within the property set called pset door common. Unfortunately, we have to know how this property set is written, but we can find it in a Building Smart documentation. Data type, this is IFC label, and value string, we add values, and this should be equal to 30 min, and then again 60, 90, 120, and 180 minutes, or the last one, NR. Save. Okay, so this is done. I created one simple requirements. I can check that in a report, how it looks on in a human readable way. So OpenBIM masterclass, IFC4, IFC door. The requirements must be fire rating, property fire rating in a property set door common with value 30, 60, 90, 120, or 180, or NR. We can also see how it looks like as an XML file. It's the same data. Since we are finished, we click on download with version 1.0, and we download the file. Yes, if you didn't catch everything, don't worry. If you registered your email, you will get this IDS file as a gift after this session, so you can watch it and understand all the details. So to sum up, IDS represents that shift from reactive quality checking to proactive requirement validation, from document-based requirements to structured enforceable specification. So we don't just write requirements, we make them executable. And now we create IDS files. So now let me give the stage for Ignacy to go with the exporting, how to export properly IFC file.
Thank you for Konrad for preparing us to requirements. Great introduction, and just letting to know everyone, we are going to answer all of your questions. Maybe not during the workshop, but for sure on the Q&A session that we have just after the workshop. Ignacy, if you have any questions to answer already, so please feel free to do it. But if not, I'm sharing your screen right now, and stage is yours. So after requirements, we are going to export.
Yep, this is the step number 3. So let's jump into export. So basically, the Konrad said that, okay, first we have information requirements. Okay, the client says, hey, we want doors. We want all doors to have the fire rating property inside. Good. Also, Konrad said, okay, if he got these requirements, he need to create an IDS file, and based on these information requirements, we are going to check if these information requirements are met or not. Okay, and now we are going to move into the next step. Our next step is to produce the IFC models. So in this step, the disciplinary models, for example, architectural, structural, MEP models, are developed, okay, and IDS is delivered to the disciplines which are working on their models using model authoring tools. And disciplines should add, these requirements, then information requirements based on the IDS into their models in authoring tools. And that actually the tools doesn't matter so much. It can be TechLight, it can be Revit, it can be ArchiCAD, it can be Open Designer, Vectorworks, or any other model authoring tool that supports IFCs. And in our example, we are going to have an example that we work as architects, okay? And we are going to work in Revit. And we need to export our model to IFC. And we know we got these IDS information requirements from Conrad. And let's start with defining how to export the right IFCs from Revit. So let's say that our architect creates a model and he delivers it to BIM coordinator using IFC file. Okay, so on the left, we have the Revit model. As you see, all objects are in the place. Doors, walls, everything is in place. But then our architect creates IFC, okay, and send it to BIM coordinator. So yeah, great job. He clicked export, but something happened. So on the left, we see the Revit model, and on the right, we see IFC. And let's look at the result. You see that there are no doors on the right side or on the right snapshot. So the models that doesn't have doors. Why? What happened actually? What was the reason why we don't have doors? Okay. And this is quite common. I've seen it thousands of times, that after exporting some data is missing. And we, in order to solve this issue, we need to understand the basics of how Revit handles IFC exports, because without them, it will be hard to produce the quality IFC, okay? So first, we need to understand how to control what is exported. The first aspect that needs to be considered is that there are three main ways that Revit controls what you are going to see in the IFC file, what will be exported. The first is through the mapping table, which can be found in the IFC exporter option. Then secondly, we can create a dedicated view to export only elements that we need. So we can use, of course, filters, phases, general visibility over graphics to control what we see on the view. And the third option is we can exclude the specific elements using export to IFC option. Okay, so we are going to dive into each of these points in detail just to show you what I mean by that. So as I said, as you know from the beginning of this presentation, when Marcin was talking about the IFC schema, you know that IFC schema consists of IFC entities, IFC classes, okay? And in a way to make it simple, IFC classes can be compared to Revit categories, and IFC classes define element functions, properties, and dependencies, okay? And the problem is that there are much more IFC classes in IFC schema than Revit element categories. So due to this unequal, I would say, granularity, the direct mapping one-to-one of IFC classes to Revit elements is not actually possible. So this mapping table that Revit provides is the first place where we should map our elements. But unfortunately, it only provides a rough mapping of IFC classes to Revit elements, okay? In our case, we can see that there are, maybe I will show you in just a sec what kind of elements we don't see in the mapping table. So as I said, Revit elements, Revit maps the elements into IFC classes often by default in a really good manner. So for example, doors are classified into IFC doors, but often we need to refine the mapping table for specific elements. So here is a simple example. So let's say that in Revit, we have this heat recovery unit, okay? And most of the mechanical objects in Revit are grouped in a category called mechanical equipment. And in IFC mapping table, this category is mapped into generic class, which is called IFC building element proxy. Okay, and in order to assign a correct IFC entity to this heat unit, we need to use different thing. We need to use export IFC as property, and this property is included in every single Revit element. Okay, and here we define an right IFC entity. Okay, to this heater. So in our case, it will be IFC air-to-air heat recovery type. Unfortunately, we are not going to dive deep into this topic because of the time constraint of the session. But important to understand here is if you don't see the right IFC class in the mapping table, you need to use this export to IFC as property to define it. Okay. But in our case, Conrad's requirements relates to IFC door and IFC PSET door common. So thankfully, IFC door has its own Revit category, which is doors. So it's very easy for us to map these two together. So on the left, we have Revit category as doors, IFC class, IFC door. It's quite straightforward and easy to do. All right. Now, another way, this is so first was the mapping table. Another way to control what we see is a dedicated view to export only elements visible in the view. And we can filter elements on the view using visibility overrides, phases, different ways to do it. Okay, and the exporter, if we go to IFC exporter options, you can see that under additional content tab, we find the option export only elements visible in the view, and we need to enable it. Okay, one tip about this exported view, you can create several such views for different use cases. So for example, let's say that you want to export facade elements, okay, or you are a structural engineer and you would like to show only load bearing elements or foundations. Then you can create such views, and these views serves as a fast way to export only elements that you need. Okay. And as I said, in our case, we need to make sure that all doors in our example, since we are going to check doors, we need to check if all doors in our example are visible. Okay. So we are going to look at it in just a minute in a demo. The third option to control what we export is related to specific elements in the model. Okay, we can exclude specific elements using export to IFC property, which is also under the IFC parameters property set for each element in Revit. So let's say in this example, let's say that these revolving doors that we see here, we don't want to export them. We can set the value of export to IFC property as no. And in that way, I assure that all doors in the model will be exported to IFC, excluding this one. All right. Okay, so we talked about how to control geometry. Right now, let's talk about the properties, okay? Because they are super, super important. When we export IFCs to Revit, we deal with, I would say, to make it simple to understand, with two property groups, okay? The first one is IFC common properties. These are predefined property sets that come directly from IFC schema. And actually, I've heard this analogy lately, and I like it a lot. It was shared with me by my colleague Leila Szeczerbiegovic. And you need to think about IFC common properties like fields on the passport, okay? So there is a name in the passport, date of birth, nationality, and every system can read them because they follow an international standard. And the same actually is with IFC, with these common properties. These properties are recognizable by every BIM tool because they are part of official schema, okay? The second category are user-defined properties, and these are custom fields, I would say, custom properties created by users, which are required, for example, by a project. And it can be added at the top of common ones. For example, for local requirements, for asset data, these type of things. Of course, they are valid, but they are optional, and they are not recognized automatically by all software. So you need to think about it. And another tip, so the best practice would be use the IFC common properties whenever it is possible, and then add your custom properties only where you found that they are needed, okay? So in our example, let's come back to the example from the Conrad. So in our example, we need to check the fire rating property that is stored in door common property set, which is a part of IFC common property set, right? So to control what properties will be exported to IFC, there is a property set tab in Exporter, as you can see here. And I, of course, highly recommend everyone to get familiar with this property set and with the whole exporter. If you, of course, work with Revit and you are responsible for exporting IFC files, we are not going to cover all functionalities, but in our case, we need to enable this export IFC common property set in order to have them in IFC. Of course, to know which common property set exists, okay, and how they are named, I recommend always checking IFC documentation. 2x3 documentation was a pain, but you know, later documentation IFC4, 4x3 are much clearer, much better. You can just write down Control F, do the search, write down door common, floor common, roof common, and you will find slab common, and you will find all the property sets and all the definitions in the documentation. And when you export from Revit, you can compare the IFC output of with this list, you know, and check if the properties, common properties, are stored in the documentation or not. All right. So, but before we even dive into the demo, one last thing that I wanted to tell you, because when you export, for example, doors from Revit, you might notice that some IFC common properties are missing. All right. And there are actually two simple reasons why this happened. The first reason is that there is no value assigned in Revit so to this particular property, so Revit doesn't export an empty properties. Okay, so in our case, if fire rating property has no value, so there are doors, there is a fire rating property, and this property doesn't have any value, it won't be exported into IFC. All right. The second reason is that the property doesn't exist in Revit at all. What I mean by that? Because you need to understand that IFC defines many very specific common properties, okay? And they are not all of them are needed in every project. That's one thing. And also Autodesk need to thought about, okay, which properties, common properties, we will add as default in software. So they don't include every single one from IFC schema, because Revit would be overloaded with parameters that actually almost nobody uses. So Autodesk, I would say Revit includes only most commonly used ones, commonly used properties by default. If your project needs additional IFC properties, you can simply add them and map them before exporting. We are not going to cover this right now, but there are many options to do it, right? Thankfully, in our example, fire rating property is defined in Revit, and you can find it in identity data under the type. There is a fire rating property. So when you will fill this property, okay, with the value, the value will be automatically assigned to IFC door common property to property set to fire rating property in IFC file, right? So this is the theoretical part. Let's jump into Revit to see this in more detail. Okay, right now you can see my Revit. So we have a sample project, Snowdown Tower project. As you can see here, we have this file, and as I told you during the presentation in the theoretical part, if we choose these revolving doors, just a sec. We have the IFC export, IFC parameters here, and we have this export to IFC. It's set to no. Okay, so right now I have dedicated IFC export view. I created it especially, I'm, for example, an architect, and I want to export this model. I want all the doors to be exported into that model, okay? And all the doors need to have the fire rating property with the right data, with the right values, right? If we send this file with such setting, these doors won't be exported. That's one thing. Another thing, we need to make sure that the all doors are enabled in this view, all right? Because if we hide them, they won't be exported into IFC. Another thing, let's go to File, to Export, to IFC. Here at the IFC Exporter tab, we need to modify the setup, all right? Modify the setup to modify all the options that are available for us to export IFC. I already created the IFC master class setup, okay, which gathers all options that I prefer. So in our case, I want the IFC to be exported into IFC4. I want the exchange requirements architectural, okay. When it comes to additional content, we talked about it. I want to export only elements visible in the view, all right? Also, the property sets. I want only to export IFC common property sets, okay? We can leave this base quantities. It's not a problem. Actually, it's quite handy to have them, but we enable this one, all right? We just hit OK. And then we just hit export to export the file, all right? Since this file, it may take a bit of the time, and because of the time constraints, we already exported this file. So I'm going to go to coordination tool called Solibri Office, and I will open this IFC file, and I will show you the result of this export. So let's open this file. I will name the file. I will short name the file since this is architectural file. Now, as you see, the first thing is these doors are missing because we set this IFC as, export to IFC as no. All other doors are exported apart from this one, all right? So as you see, our settings work, all right? Now, let's click on one of the doors. If I click on one of the doors, I will enable, maybe I will make it, I will enable this information dialog where I can find all the details about this particular door. If I scroll down, I see that the IFC entity is set to IFC doors, which is good. That's what we expected, that all doors are set to right category, right mapping. Now, if I go to IFC standard properties, we have pset door common, also good. But the problem is that we don't have fire rating. The question is, what the fuck? Why? And the thing is that, as I mentioned before, if we go here, if we click on these doors, go to edit type and find this property fire rating, you see there's no value. Since there's no value, as I said in the theory, this property won't be exported to IFC, all right? But if I open another, if I make another view, I just click another doors, and you see fire rating 60 minutes. That's good. Another one, 60 minutes. These doors have this property. So we know that the mapping of the property into right common door common property was done correctly, but the problem with these previous doors were that there was no value for this particular door. All right. So yeah, that's how we actually export the IFC from Revit with specific properties. Now let's jump to the next step in our I would say OpenBIM workflow, to step number 4, and let's jump to Konrad, Fugas, and Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ignacy. Great work. We got already great comment. You're amazing to talk about all these topics. Really respect. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you, Ignacy. And I think it's also the power of BIM Corner, because we are working with different softwares, with different projects, with different disciplines, and we can show you the whole spectrum of BIM. So, Konrad, let's go to next step, which is validation.
Yes. Thanks one more time, Ignacy, for showing us great tips on how to export IFC models correctly. And now let's move on to step 4, which is validation, to ensure that our models meet the data requirements. So in our graph, in our OpenBIM workflow schema, we are now here in the IDS validation, and we are using model checking tool. So what we do now, we combine those two files, IDS from requirements and IFC created by Ignacy, and combine them together. In this step, I disguised myself as in a BIM coordinator role, collaborating with architecture company. So let me shortly describe this workflow. The first part is behind us. We have created requirements in a form of IDS file, and we have also created a model delivered to me by Ignacy. Now we have to upload them, both model and IDS, into checking software and validate it against my requirements from IDS. And afterwards, I create a report to get detailed issue results. So we upload IFC model and IDS requirements, those two files into and validation software. And both IFC and IDS are open formats, and the validation software there are many different validation softwares. The three most popular that I know of are ASBIM, Solibri, and BIM Vision. I personally use Solibri. Drop us also in the comments some other tools you know that also support IDS validation. And I mean IDS validation, not only creation. Yes, so we run the check and go through the results, creating issues. So, and then we will report those found issues. And a very good format to use for that purpose is another open format called BCF, which stands for BIM Collaboration Format. It was created precisely for the purpose of collaboration between different stakeholders and software. BCF tells us everything about the issue. A snapshot of the issue and its surrounding, a viewpoint, including its placement in the model, an author who created the issue, his comment, markup, if he wanted to point out something specific, due date for resolving the issue, and who is responsible for fixing it. Yes, that was the quick theory session. And now let's move on to the model and a validation process of the fire rating IDS requirements inside Solibri model. So I here open Solibri model. This is the same IFC that Ignacy delivered us. I go on to the checking tab here, and here Solibri pops out a window to select the rule sets I want to use. I can either add my IDS from the path, or I can close this window and just open the file explorer and upload, just drag and drop the IDS file here I have created. And I click on check model. So now Solibri is checking the model regarding the IDS requirements. I can also let us check the rule parameters to see if this is the same IDS that I have created beforehand. And yes, this is entity IFC door, IFC4, property set, door common, fire rating, and 30, 60, 90, 120, or 180, or not required. Yes, so this is the same IDS. Solibri has done the checking now. I click on this here, and on the right-hand side, I see some results. Solibri grouped the issues in 3 categories. The first one, it's called invalid cardinality, and this description says found 0 properties matching fire rating in property set matching pset door common. The requirement is required, and this is not very informative if you ask me. But in practice, it means that doors in this issue do not have any property called fire rating in property set door common. This is exactly the example that Ignacy showed us in previously, that the door type didn't have the fire rating in their type description. So yeah, and this can be due to either export failure or missing value in Revit. Yes, let's check those doors. Click on one of those. IFC standard property set. Yeah, pset door common. We're missing IFC fire rating. So we mark them. This is of course an issue. So I create this here, clicking on add slide. Here is the description that Solibri proposed us, but maybe instead of invalid cardinality, I will write invalid value, or missing. Actually, this is missing value. Yes. Status. Let's click on active. Or actually, I can edit it later. I just check now if the components are in the issue. Yes, they are. Okay, I close it for now. Then we have 2 other groups of issues that are called invalid value 20 minutes and invalid value 45 minutes. And meaning here is actually very clear. This means that in architectural models, these doors have fire rating 20 minutes, and that value is not allowed by our IDS, since we allow only value either 30 minutes or 60 minutes. So we've got those 2 issues. And again, I will add slide, and here the same for those doors. They have 45 minutes. I will add another slide. Yes. Now let's go to the communication and add a new presentation from checking results. We have 3 results. We go from the top. Yes, so these are the missing value, 20 minutes and 45 minutes. Let me mark those 3 at once. And let's say status to active, issue type to issue, priority normal, and let's set the due date. I need it by Friday, architectural. Yes, we created those 3 issues. Maybe now let's toggle on the model to see if everything looks okay. I see that we have missing windows here, but this is fine because we have another facade model that has everything on there. But I see there are entry doors missing here. So Ignacy might think that the buildings don't need doors, but I think otherwise. So I will create an issue here. I will just mark new issue and write missing doors, entry doors. And let me do some markup so that he knows where it is. I cannot mark the component since the component is missing. Yeah. So I have this issue again with also 28. Great. So now I have 4 issues, and I'm ready to create a report. So and create a BCF file, issue report IDS file. Let's call it like that. And yes, I click Save Report, and I just save it. And we have the file. So I hand it now over to Ignacy, who will show us what we can do with this file later on.
Perfect. Thank you, Konrad, for talking about communication. It's not
Validation.
the great way. Yeah, sorry, validation.
Communication
So BTF is not just a way to contact between designers, but also different stakeholders. So thank you very much, Ignacy. The stage is yours. So let's go to
Thanks, Chris.
last one.
All right. So this time the step number 5 is communication. Just give me a sec. I have some technical issues. No. So now is the next step in our workflow. So we need to communicate. So Konrad Fugas, he was a BIM coordinator, let's say. He validates the model. I export it as an architect. He validates it, found some issues using the IDS, using the information requirement file. He doesn't need to check, the model one by one. He just used the XML file IDS to check the model, and he sent to me information. Hey, Ignacy, you need to fix some things. Okay, so we need to, so he communicates to me using BCF format, okay, these issues, the problems that need to be fixed, right? And we are right now in this communication step. So in our case, how these issues can be communicated and how these issues can be, I would say, consumed by me, by architect, okay, to solve them in my authoring tool, in our case, in Revit, all right? So in our case, we are going to use software, specific software to store all BCF reports, all BCF issues, okay? We call them issue managers. In our case, we are going to use Newforma Connect. And I would say that having the issue manager in place helps with a lot of things. First of all, you don't need to worry too much about where we are going to store all issues, okay? It keeps track of all issues that are in the project. You know exactly who is responsible for these issues. You know what are the due dates, who is responsible for what. You know all the comments, all the problems are in one place, and they are gathered to make an order during the coordination process. We are using Newforma Connect. Of course, there are tons of different applications that can do similar things as Newforma. For example, Previsto, BIM Collab. There is also Autodesk Construction Cloud. Also, Trimble Connect has such possibilities. There are many different software. In our case, we are going to use Newforma just for the sake of this presentation. Just to outline, just to present how these issue managers, cloud applications work in, they are, I would say, like issue manager is a cloud application. everyone involved in coordination process has access to all up-to-date data, and they are integrated with authoring tools like Revit, Tekla, ArchiCAD. They can integrate with Solibri, with Navisworks, with coordination software. In that way, we can directly work with issues in our programs that we prefer, in our programs that we worked on a daily basis. Okay, so let's see in action how it all works together. So in order to do it, first step would be for me to just check if you guys can see my screen, and yes. All right, so this is New Forma Connect. So this is Issue Manager. I created, for the sake of this presentation, IFC Masterclass project. All right. And in this IFC Masterclass project, of course, there are different things that we could do in New Forma Connect. Right now, today, we are going to focus only on issues found during the validation process that Konrad performed. In our case, in order to add issues from the BCF file, I already added them, all right, before, but in order to add them, the issues from the BCF file, it's very easy to do. We go here into import, we browse the IFC, the IDS, for example, this one. We set different values for fields. So for example, if we need to define what is the status of this particular issue, is it resolved? Is it closed? Is it reopened? Is it still active? What kind of issue is it? So for example, we set status to active. What kind of issue is it? Is it like an issue, or it's like a comment? It's a requirement. We define that this is an issue. This is some problems that we found in the model. An assigned party, I'm responsible for them. So Ignacy Łoziński assigned to me. Then we can set up the due date. So for example, 28th of November, we can define different things. For example, discipline, architectural, and so on and so on. So when I upload these BCF file, it will, right now I will discard all these changes, but they will, all the issues will jump here into Issue Manager, all right? We have the 4 issues as Konrad found in the previous step. So I'm an architect, I work with Revit, and I would like to see these issues and fix these issues directly in Revit. In order to do so, I need to install the plugin, the special plugin, to see these issues using New Forma Connect. So I have the plugin installed already. I just hit here. I choose the project that I want to explore. So we have the IFC Masterclass project enabled. I will just hit this one. And you see, guys, that we have the 4 issues in this list. All right. So these 4 issues are the same 4 issues that we see here. All right. Now, so we have this one, missing entry doors object. All right. So Konrad said you need to export all doors, not only the doors, all doors. There are no, you need to export as well these doors, so we know that they are here. But for example, let's say that we don't know where this place is. What we can do, we can hit this view in the model. We will be transferred to the place where the issue exists. All right. So we see, all right, these are the doors. In order to export them next time, we just set here to yes, export, boom, and we are ready. The issue is fixed, actually. So what we could do is I could write a comment, this issue is fixed, all right? This issue is fixed. We can set the status to resolved, and we can publish the changes. Now, let's see another issue. So we see that there are doors. If I go to view and edit, doors rating check, no matching values for the property fire rating. Value is 45 minutes. It should be from this value list. All right. So what I could do, I'm an architect. I just come over here. I hit view in the model. And the problem is I don't see these issues and how to solve it. The thing is that we need to set up a right settings to see isolated elements. So in new format, we go to element visibility, isolate elements, and we just redo the view. And here we have them. Here we have all these doors need to be fixed. Okay, so I can go one by one and check the right data. All right, of course I could do that. Schedule of existing of the selected elements. I could do it in many different ways. I'm just showing you guys the principles. So I select one, I see that there is this is 45 minutes, I will put it as 60, I will just hit apply. Okay, and these doors are right now validated, they have the right data inside. Okay, so let's say that I changed all the doors. I can write down, I fixed it, changed to 60 minutes. Boom. And I set the status to resolved. Boom, publish. And this issue is published and it's set the status resolved. Of course, I could do the same with other views. Sorry. So I could do the same with other views. I hit just here. And you guys remember these two doors next to the revolving doors, which I was mentioning about? They didn't have any value. So Konrad found actually these, that they don't have the properties matching fire rating pset door comment. They don't have it. So most probably these two doors, as you guys remember, if not, I will just make the scope box to make it clearer. These are two doors next to the entry door. These doors don't have this property filled in. So we know right now that our process works, all right? Because we know that they were flagged by Konrad. Hey, Ignacy, you need to fix them, all right? So now I can go to edit type. And of course, if I go to identity data fire rating, yeah, it's empty. Let's set it to 90, all right? And now we know that this issue is fixed. And again, I could go to edit. I would just write changed to 90 minutes, pause the comment, set the status to resolved, publish it. And just to show you guys the example, I will refresh the page. Now you guys see that the status of 3 issues is set to resolved. And if I go to any of these and check the comments, was probably this issue is fixed. All right. All right. So this is it. This is how you make the edits, make the changes in issues. Now let's back to the presentation. I hope it was understandable. So these, as you see, guys, these were the various steps of OpenBIM workflow that you guys need to know to feel confident working with OpenBIM formats like IFCs, BCFs, IDS. As you see, each area is interconnected with each other, and we started with basics, with information requirements. Then we jump into model authority and exporting the IFC files. Then we validate the model. Then we used BCF to communicate the problems to the designer who fixed it. And this communication, this ongoing communication of BCF files, of course, we don't need to export BCF files. We can make it seamless collaboration through APIs. There are tons of different tools, but we wanted today to show you the principles behind OpenBIM methodology. All right. So at the beginning of today's training, we promised you that after this session, first of all, you will have the better understanding of what IFC really is and why it matters. Then how to set up information requirements using the IDS without getting lost in the complexity, how to export quality IFC from modeling software. Of course, we need to choose some software to make it happen in this event. So I chose Revit since I'm working it on a daily basis. And the last but not least, how to check your models and how to create issues, how to communicate them using actually a very simple workflow using the BCF format. So I just want to ask you guys, I just want to ask our lovely audience, which step you would like to explore in more detail. All right. I would love to hear in the comment, write down in the comments, what do you think? It's the step 1, like the structure. You don't understand the basics. Maybe step 2, IDS, requirements, how to set them up, everything related to this topic. Maybe step 3, exporting from various tools, not only Revit, but that, this topic is, I would say, the biggest one. Step 4, the validation. So we have IDS, we have IFC, then we need to validate. Or step 5, communication. So write down which number, which step is you think that the biggest struggle or you would like to explore in more detail. So now I will switch to Chris. Chris, thanks so much for moderating this meeting. And Chris will tell you guys a bit more about what we prepared for the last couple of months in BIM Corner.
Thank you, Ignacy, and thank for all the answers from you guys. I see lots of great answers. I see also that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the steps. But I see mostly step number 2 and 3. Oh my God, this is lots of answers. So lots of topics to cover. Thank you. And we are aware of that that this workshop 0, it was tip of the iceberg, and things that which are included in the open process BIM is much more broader aspect. Because of the time constraint, we couldn't show you everything and go much into detail. We try to show you the whole overview and explain each topic. But today, I would like to present the product that we've been working with guys for in whole 2025. And we would like to show you the IFC Masterclass. My IFC Masterclass that is starting after workshop 0, which was introduction. And now we'll go much deeper into the whole topic. So I'm really excited because we put a lot of effort to squeeze all of our knowledge, and we have created 5 comprehensive workshops with us, BIM Corner team. What does it mean IFC Master Class? So we are going to conduct live workshops. These 5 workshops will be recorded, so you can finally gain confidence in OpenBIM. And IFC Masterclass, it's not a passive video course that you are clicking, you are watching video. It will be, the workshops will have the same structure as we presented today. So everything will be based on practical, real workflows. So we will teach you how to build your own IDS validation workflow. We'll show you how to export and validate real IFC models. You will be able to create your own IFC, BCF files with issues and close the feedback loop. So everything we are going to present, we are going to cover with presentation, but also with the templates that you can use. And all the knowledge that will be presented in IFC Masterclass is made by us, BIM Corner team, BIM engineers, coordinators, and managers experienced in BIM projects. So in 2025, we try to squeeze our knowledge that we presented in last 6 years. So in past 6 years, we have posted every single week new article. To date, we produce more than 300 articles. And in IFC workshop, we would like to show you the essence of all these articles, to show you what are the best workflows and presented in the practical examples. So for who is IFC Masterclass? if you still feel lost in OpenBIM workflow, if you still don't know what the BIM jargon, all the acronyms are about, and if you are still confused about the exports, if they're coming back wrong and you are missing properties, there are some missing wrong types, all the data chaos, so this is for you. And you can imagine that it can be different. In the IFC masterclass, we can show you how to export just once, not hundreds of times. So you are not going to be sitting late at your work, fixing, clicking, and repeating and editing. We can show you how you can do it once and in the good way. You will also know exactly where IFC adds value to the whole workflow. And of course, we're going to talk about IDS, about BSDD, and BCF files. So your workflow will be more, the workflow will be more understandable for you and also easier to work with others, designers. For over years, we have provided lots of value content. We got great feedback from our students who says that BIM Corner is a compendium of knowledge, that we have healthy perspective on construction management, and even people writing diploma theses based on our articles. So maybe you can ask, okay, Chris, when the IFC masterclass starts? So we started actually the whole workshop today with the workshop 0 as an introduction, and we are going to conduct similar workshops. In the first one will be on the 8th of December, and duration will be 5 workshops. So every single week, which I'm going to show you in calendar, we are going to conduct these comprehensive workshops. And really important thing that all the workshops will be recorded, and we are also created learning platform that everything will be posted there, and you will get lifetime access. So we know that you are maybe in different time zone, maybe you are working in this time when we are going to present live, so everything will be recorded. So what are these 5 lifetime workshops? What will be the topics? So actually, we are going to go deeper in every single topic that we presented today. So for example, we will start with the workshop 1. Workshop 1 on the 8th of December. So we will explain all these crazy acronyms: IFC, IDS, BCF, BSDD, OpenCDE. So everything what Marcin presented today, but he's really into presenting all the topics. I think if we are going to give him a floor for 10 hours, so he can talk for 10 hours about this topic. But again, we are going to squeeze all the knowledge and present in the one workshop. We're going to talk also about free IFC viewers, everything based on practical example. Next, in week number 2, we are going to talk about requirements and IDS in a really simple way. We'll show you how clients' information requirements can be applied, can be written in the very clear way. So you can move from the Excel spreadsheet and to concrete, checkable data requirements. The next one, week number 3, we are going to talk about clean IFC exports from not only Revit, but we are going to also show Tekla and Trimble Connect. So we will explain the most common IFC export mistakes, how to fix them with simple export setups and property mapping. So you will finally stop exporting IFC files 100 times, but once and make a one and good export. In week number 4, we will go through checking models and reporting issues. So in this workshop, you will learn a quick visual sanity check of IFC models, and then a deeper automated check with IDS. I know that many of you wrote in the comment that this is the topic you would like to export. So for sure, this is something we show in deeper, how to report issues with BCF file, so you stop finally firefighting before deadlines and use a clear, repeatable workshop. And the last workshop, which I'm excited also to create materials on that, we'll talk about IFC with AI and automation. So we will give you a tour on how IFC can work with, for example, IFC OpenShell, with ChatGPT, how to connect it with Power BI, and do automation in Grasshopper. So finally, you can see simple examples of automation checks and building dashboards. So finally, you stop just hearing about AI and everything about AI in our industry, but actually see how you can save your time on your projects. As I said, there are live sessions, but don't worry, everything's going to be recorded and placed on our learning platform together with the PDFs, with the all the model files on our learning platform. So everyone who is going to join IFC Masterclass will get own login and password to our learning platform, and we'll have all the workshops listed together with the pre-workshop materials, with the workshop recording, summary, and also quizzes and assignments. And this is really important part of our project because we are going to give certificate after the finishing IFC Masterclass, but only for users who are going to go through all the quizzes, all the assignments. So it's not just about you are going to join IFC Masterclass, but you have to actually prove to us that you learn about OpenBIM. And what is really important, and we really focus on that, this will be in the format Q&A session after the workshop. So all of us will be available on the session. And as today, we are going to wait and answer all of your questions. And today, this workshop just proved that this is the best way to teach others, not just giving you, okay, here are some videos that you can use on your project. We know that projects are different. Everyone uses different softwares and has different requirements. So that's why we are organizing that in the sessions, so you can ask questions. If you will be not available or not attending live, so you can ask us before or after the session, and we will prepare the answer so you can get the result as you want. Here, one piece of information that is really important: joining IFC Masterclass, you are taking no risk. We are giving you 14 days to get the refund of our product if you will feel that this masterclass is not for you. Without any conditions, you can join first of the 2 workshops, and after that you can just say to us, sorry, but I knew everything what was in these workshops, so you will get from us full refund. And joining now, you will also secure the lowest possible price. This is the first edition, and we can promise that this workshop series will never be cheaper if we are going to conduct that in the future, but we are still not sure if it's going to be next edition. So normally, if we are going to price all these 5 workshops, we will give €249 per every workshop. But we know that maybe not all of the BIM engineers, BIM designers, architects cannot afford for this price for every single workshop. That's why we decided to give another price. We know that it's a Black Week, and we all decided that the price for this first edition for 5 live workshops will be only €249. So if you are going to divide that by the number of hours spent with BIM experts, so it's just 20 hours. If you ask Ignacy or if you ask Konrad what are their hourly rate for consultancy about BIM, so it will be more than 100 euros. So this is a really big chance to have Q&A session and one-to-one consultancy with BIM experts. Remember that you are not taking any risk. We are giving guarantee for 14 days, so you can always get a refund. And of course, you can spend and go through all the materials that we have on BIM Corner. Through 6 years, we have created more than 300 articles, and all the knowledge you can find there. We are not hiding that. However, we spent whole year to make an essence from all our articles, from all our case studies that we presented. So now you can save a lot of time and join IFC Masterclass. And one important thing, this offer is valid until the Thursday, 4th of December until 9 p.m. Central European Time. It's really important. After this deadline, it will be not possible to join this workshop masterclasses. So to summarize, if our website is now open, you can now go to BIMcorner/IFC-masterclass and join our program. And IFC Masterclass is a 5 online live workshops. And together with the live workshop, you will get lifetime access to all materials and updates that will be in a future edition. You will get a certificate, of course, if you are going to go through all the assignments and quiz. You will get access to the educational platform where we have summaries and we post all the materials. And as I said, you can always get refund if you will be not enjoying our product. And the price is 249 euros. Special price only for this edition, and every single new edition will be more expensive. So that's all from me. You can go to BIM Corner IFC Masterclass, and I would like to invite all of you who've been conducting this workshop. So maybe we can also answer some of the comments. So please, Konrad, if there's any questions, please put them on the chat. All right, guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you well. We can hear you well. If there are any comments, questions, guys, just write down. Maybe Konrad Namborczyk, if you could put all the questions on the board, so we can know what kind of question we need to answer.
Okay, maybe I can start. They will be workshops. Yes, we are started with the workshop 0, and we are going to continue with calendar, which I showed you. Every single workshop will be recorded on our learning platform. Thank you so much, BIM Corner. You're fantastic. Thank you, BIM Corner team, for setting up. I'm really proud of you, of us, what we've been doing so far. Question is it only focused in Revit, or is it applicable to any other software? So maybe Marcin, can you answer? Because Ignacy showed the workflow in Revit, but we are going to also show different software.
Yes, of course, there will be more software. I'm not, for example, a Revit user, so you can definitely see like a Tekla. There will be Grasshopper. There will be 3 viewers. There will be Trimble Connect Object Manager. There will be Trimble Connect and much more. I don't have in my head all the names and all the software brand, but definitely every workshop will cover new tools. And this is also, I think, the power of this workshop, that you also can learn a lot about the different tools and how the workflow looks there. So even though if you are a Revit user or Tekla user, you also will know how other vendors tackle the issue we are trying to help you with.
Right. One more thing I would like to add here is, for example, I use Revit. So for me, it was natural choice that I'm going to show some examples in Revit, right? We are going to dive deeper into each steps that we presented in today's workflow. As Krzysztof said, it was just a scratch of the surface, all right? And in each of these workshops, we will dive in. So for example, if there is a workshop about IDS, we are going to show different examples from simple ones to very complicated regex examples of properties that comes from real projects, real requirements from, for example, Norwegian authorities, just to show you guys how these kind of information requirements can be checked in the OpenBIM workflow. That's one thing. And last thing that I want to add here is that we want you guys to make it we want to make it practical, so it will be also learning by doing. We are going to prepare homeworks, assignments that you can do by yourself at home, like homeworks, you do it by yourself at home to test what you just learned. All right.
Yeah, I have a good question. Maybe Konrad Fugas, you can answer. Will I need to subscribe to any paid software in addition to Revit to learn the whole OpenBIM workflow that we present?
Okay, so first, we will show you both the paid alternatives as well as the free ones. So, for example, I showed you in this session free as BIM IDS Creator, but I will also show you paid Solibri IDS Editor. We will show you validation software. I use Solibri, so this is paid, but Revit is also paid, but yeah, we will try to make as we will show you some concrete workflows, but we will also show you alternatives, what other software to use, because we don't know how to use any software.
So sorry, Konrad, for interrupting, sure. Because the first thing is that we wanted to make it as applicable. Okay, because when we talk about the softwares, there is always like a clash. There are, for example, Autodeskers and people against Autodesk, or people against Trimble, or I don't know, people against Allplan, and there are different, I would say, groups of people who prefer the specific software. What we found out through our 6 year of working in BIM Corner, that most of our subscribers works on a different software, okay, but we found out specific programs that are used the most. That's why we thought, okay, let's use them as a basis for these workshops, all right? And these, like 90% of these programs can be used in a trial versions, 30-day trial versions. So if you want to test something, you just register trial version. It's fully compatible for our workshop, and it won't be problem to use it during the workshops. Mm-hmm. There are questions about Bonsai BIM. We were thinking about it in workshop number 5. It's not clearly right now. We are thinking about combining automation, AI, and also we are thinking about Bonsai. We can Iton, just write down to us after the presentation. We are going to answer you in detail what kind of things will be in workshop number 5 regarding the Bonsai BIM, right?
Mm-hmm. It was a question, what is the deadline to participate? So I am going to repeat. Registration are closing on Thursday, 4th of December, 9 p.m. Central European Time. This is the deadline to register for the workshop, and the first workshop starts on the 8th of December. And then we are going to post new webinars according to our calendar, and everything will be every session will be recorded and posted on our educational learning platform. Already we have comments from Agnieszka. Thanks for fantastic session. You rock. The webinar was very informative, and I'm already looking forward to your next ones. Thank you very much. Thank you for putting trust. And we also promise to deliver even more content than today. If you are guys seeing some of the question worth to answer, maybe Ignacy, you see some of the question and the chat that we should answer right now, and we will go one by one. All right, so maybe we should go through the list. Julia asked.
Sorry. I was muted. Sorry, guys. I was muted. There was one question before that. I saw that there was a question about why we are actually technical question, why we are actually exporting fire rating property from Revit on the type level. And the answer is pretty easy to answer. That's designed by default by Autodesk and Revit, and it's designed for the purpose, because if you have one doors in, let's say you have a hospital with hundreds of doors and you have the one door type, okay, most probably like 99% of the times these doors will have the same fire rating, and most of the properties will be the same, like the measurements, the height, the width, and so on. The fire rating is the same properties. That's why the common property for this particular aspect, like the fire rating, is set to the type, not an instance level.
Is this only focus on the particular IFC schema?
Should I answer that?
Yep.
Marcin, go ahead.
So the first workshop will be focused, of course, or not of course, it will be focused on IFC and practical examples, and I would like to really go deeper into details and also try to explain you all the mechanisms that are behind. And I know that this could be confusing, but I'm also working with this standard, I think like on a daily basis, almost for 5 years, implementing this into the software. So I hope to also show you a more understandable way to interpret it, IFC schema. So there will be this is just the start, and this is one of the OpenBIM standards, and guys will also follow OpenBIM approach and explain IDS. We will also have a BSDD. We will also have a BCF. So all these abbreviations that from OpenBIM environment will be explained in the details during the workshops, depending on, and it will be, of course, distributed among different steps, different live sessions. But yes, the first workshop will be almost 90% about the IFC, and also the explanation about the main kind of pillars that are that are kind of as a part of the OpenBIM approach.
Marcin, next one is for you, I guess, as well.
Yeah. So what are the difference between the IFC versions? Which version should I choose for export? Yes. So it all depends what is the project requirements, because as maybe you guys know, maybe in all the projects, not all, but most of them, still IFC 2x3 is enough to work with, and still the requirements are adapting this format. But now we are in 2025, and we have 3 different IFC formats to select. So we have IFC 2x3, we have IFC 4, and IFC 4.3. IFC 4.3 still is quite modern and maybe not implemented correctly all the software we know, but we are getting there. IFC 4.3 is kind of inviting infrastructure domain into the environment. So I will say, and I would really like to see more practical examples from IFC 4.3. So I think this is the future, and I see the huge potential in combining all different domains together. And this is what IFC 4.3 gives you, not only the building parts, but also real infrastructure elements that are that you can find in IFC 4.3 schema. So I'm a really fan of implementing IFC 4.3 if it's possible.
Okay, thank you. Konrad Fugas, maybe you can answer the next one because it's about us as BIM.
Yeah, so is it possible to use ASBIM to define level of information for the model elements instead of define them in Excel sheet as known as element matrix? Yes, it depends on what do you what information are in this level of information matrix, but this IDS was created mostly for that we can ditch the Excel and just use the IDS schema to define the property requirements. So we don't have to have long, boring Excel spreadsheets. We can have one IDS report that is possible to export to PDF that we can read, and also that we can validate with using the same file.
Thank you. And Ignaty, when we use plugin to see BCF, the activates can be seen by BIM coordinator.
The activities. You mean when you use the plugin to see BCF, the activities can be seen by BIM coordinator. So basically, it works like this. In our case, New Forma Connect platform tracks every, I would say, change that was made for IFC. So if you, for example, uploaded a new new BCF file, if you change the status of issue, if you add a comment, whatever it was, if you changed something, all the activities are stored in this particular issue and can be viewed by, for example, for BIM coordinator using the web browser, going to New Forma Connect platform and looking at the issues and seeing all the activities. So yes, everything, there is a full audit of what had happened with the issue. So if somebody, for example, closed the issue by accident, and you are a BIM coordinator and see that there is still a problem, but somebody resolved the issue or closed the issue, then you can see the name of this person and go to this person, talk with them, and resolve the issue, and explain why it happened.
Okay, and since you've been talking about export, so maybe you can answer the next one about the Revit differences in the types in Revit.
Yeah, it would be good if you could, in export to IFC in Revit, what's the difference between type and yes? You should show my screen right now in order to explain it. So basically, Fernando is asking, hey, I have these doors, all right, and I go here into IFC export to IFC. I set it to yes because I want this particular element to be exported, but there is also by type. All right, what happens with this? All right, so we export this by type. If we go to export to IFC to category mapping, we see that our type is like the type is an exterior revolving doors. All right, and we know that this type, this type is also exported, and we know that all the doors we set up the mapping of exporting all the doors here. So if I write down doors. Of course, Revit is lagging just a sec, so we see that doors will be exported to IFC door. If it won't be exported, we can define that, we can write down, okay, not exported here as well. So we will block it. So by type, it means it checks this value. If the value of the IFC class is defined, it will be exported. All right?
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Back to our main office.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a topic to Konrad, maybe about IDS.
Chris, can you show your screen?
Yeah, I can show it. Let me see. How to map custom parameters or additional property from IFC properties during the export.
I think this is something for me again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, I would need to show it, on live. So basically, of course, there are a few options to do it. We go to exporter to export a property set. If you would like to export custom properties, parameters, there's a way to do it. You just hit export user-defined property set, and you need to define them in a file. All right. It's a user-defined property set text file. We are going to dive into this a bit, during, like, not even a bit. A lot of it will be during our workshops. But there is a text file. There is also a good. Just give me a sec. There is also a good explanation of it. User-defined properties. There is a blog post about it. We scratch the surface over here as well, but still it gives you the basic understanding how it's done.
Okay, so when you are sharing your screen, do you have knowledge about exporting top solids from Revit as an IFC site?
Actually, it's a tricky one because IFC site property is stored inside Revit in project information, and we need to add specific parameter here to add the IFC site property. I was just thinking that we could do this by mapping IFC topo solid. So if I go to IFC export, I just go to category mapping and just write down topo solid. Of course, it takes some time for Revit to filter topo solid. It's mapped into IFC graphical element, and I could assign it to IFC site, but I don't know if this workflow works 100%, so I would need to test it. All right.
I can also elaborate on that if you wish. I'm not a Revit user, but from my perspective, technical perspective, so IFC site is a spatial element.
Spatial element, exactly.
And for example, terrain, topo surface could be connected, as you show, to IFC geographic element, which is contained in IFC site. And I think this is more better way, because if you connect your geometry to IFC site, then I can imagine that some software could not read this information correctly. All right. This is just as information. Geographic element is more safe, to say so.
Okay, and when you are already on the mic, Marcin, so I think the next question is from you, from Anya Anna. Great presentation. Will the IFC masterclass also be valuable for infrastructure projects and disciplines such as roads or railways? And Marcin, as a road designer, maybe can answer that one.
I want to say something in English and translate directly from Polish to English. This is honey on my heart. I don't know if it's a good term, but I want to just say, yes, it will be definitely for people like you. I'm a civil engineer and infrastructure domain is my specialty. So this is what I'm doing every day. So yes, there will be a lot about that, but not only for them. I also know from my colleagues that I need to sometimes adjust to the structures and buildings. So I will cover all the aspects, but yes, the roads and railways will be, of course, I hope, nicely explained, and you will find a lot of information about these two disciplines.
Yeah, and also about bridges as well. As a bridge
Yes.
designer, we have also included bridges. Konrad Fugas, for you, next one about IDS file.
Our IDS file used only to check whether a parameter has been filled in correctly. Could you provide a more advanced example of using IDS beyond checking fire resistance? Yes, and this is the whole workshop number 2 is going to be IDS. We showed here the fire rating as a very simple example. And in the workshop 2, we will also show and also give you a homework for much more complex requirements beyond only the common property sets, but also user-defined property sets, regex, project management parameters such as level of development. So there's going to be a lot of interesting exercises and examples. And IDS is for checking the data. So to answering your first question, so IDS checks data. It doesn't. It was not created to check clashes or geometry. You have to check them separately. So, but IDS can also check whether the parameter has been filled in at all or not. It can also can check whether the parameter is within the range. So, for example, if something is not too long or too short. So we will dive deep in that in workshop number 2 in week 2. So yeah, there's much more to say about it.
Okay, and since you are here, so maybe the next one there, is there any automations of IDS? And are you going to present something?
So I will try to use IDS for creating properties automatically by Dynamo. Is there any best way? I haven't tried to create IDS by Dynamo, but I would think if you have already some requirements in Excel from the project, I've done it, that recreate them as an IDS file. So this might be some kind of automation or a shortcut you can take from translating the full spectrum of requirements into an IDS file.
Mm-hmm. Let me see, Ignacy, do you have any comments on that one?
No, not at all.
Yeah, Ignacy must go. I think we ask every question to Ignacy. So thanks, Ignacy, for being with us. We have other
Thank you
questions.
so much, guys. I have 3 small kids. That's why I need to come back to the family. They are expecting, the bath right now. So sorry, guys, but thanks so much for attending, and cheers, guys.
But we are staying. Wish happy birthday to your wife.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's go to more comments that we just got. What about classification templates? For example, uniformat, master format, etc. Will they be included in the IFC masterclass?
I can quickly answer to that one. In workshop 2, we also create one requirement for uniformat using the classification facets. So yes, we will cover some aspects of them.
Mm-hmm. What will be the title of certificate? So certificate is going to be issued by BIM Corner, and we are going to include in the certificate all the topics that will be included in 5 workshops. But as I said, we are not giving this certificate just for joining IFC Masterclass. You have to prove to us that you understand IFC and OpenBIM workflow. I'm glad to connect in architect friendly despite so many engineers. But Konrad is our good representative for architect. So Konrad, maybe you can also say is this EIFC masterclass worth joining by an architect?
So we showed you some architect example because it's maybe the easiest to show the as an entry level, but we are engineers and we will definitely cover also engineer content, creating some requirements in structural models and checking some plumbing or MEP models. So definitely both architects and engineers are very welcome. Marcin will show some roads examples, and Chris is also bridge engineer. So yeah, we will try to cover as much and as broad spectrum as we can.
Christina is asking and saying that big challenge with the OpenBIM checking the parameters of the elements. Can we help her in this IFC masterclass?
Yes, I will take this again. We will solve it. We will help in the workshop number 2. This is checking the parameters of the elements. This is exactly what IDS was made for. And trust me, guys, 5 years ago when I was starting as on a hospital project, when I had to check parameters, I was almost crying because creating Solibri rule sets to cover all the different aspects of data took me like weeks. And now, thanks to IDS and all those regex patterns and this beauty behind the data types, this is much easier. And yeah, this is what we're gonna show in the workshop.
Next one, Leonardo, export from Rhino to Revit after the model is done. This is something like we are going to show in the workshop number 5. There I'm going to myself present Grasshopper and connection and how can we automate parameters. And maybe I can also show a little bit about connection with Revit, which is super powerful. I could show this question right now and give the mic to Marcin, but I think he is going to speak about it for the next hour. So let's take this question at the end, so he can explain it a little bit more. How to have a clear understanding of the difference between attributes and properties. Marcin, maybe you can take that one. What is the difference between them?
Good question. Thank you. So, as I presented at the very beginning, we have a property set as a entity, and property set can have different properties. And property sets are also defined by Building Smart, but you can also have custom, like a project specific. And you can add, for example, to this custom property set, a lot of different properties. But attributes are limited and only the number is always the same. So when you open any IFC documentation and click on, for example, type IFC course, you will have a list of all different attributes. And the attributes basically giving you extra sense to the class. So you have the most common, or the main are that always you have a global ID, you have a name, you have also sometimes on some objects you have a tag, you have a description, you have a predefined type, you have also object type, and all these attributes list you can find in the documentation, but you cannot really when you talk about the attributes and when you talk about the properties, there are two different things. So when you want to add project specific things, you use properties. If you want to describe or give some extra sense to your object, then you use the attribute. It's also used for some filtering sometimes. If you, for example, global ID, you can find the objects, or description giving some extra meaning, like more readable. You can use 255 digits. So depending on how you work with your IFC, but yes, this is two different things.
And Martin, there was a question during your presentation when you change columns, and was the question, does it change it for all columns or just this specific column?
Yeah, so depending how the property set are structured, because you can link, for example, one property set to many different objects. But in my case, I have one property set per object. So I added one specific property to this property set, which was connected to one object. But of course, depending how your export works, sometimes you have many different property sets with the same name. Sometimes you have just one property set with properties, and also they are linked to different objects. In my case, I had just one P set per object. So when I did this edit, I only include the property on one object. But of course, it's doable, and depending on which authoring software you are using, because I also think that this is sometimes, you have duplications, sometimes not.
And Daniel asked, and also it was during when you showed the workflow, it is more complicated to edit an element inside the IFC environment in any open tool. That in any authored software like Revit, Civil 3D, I don't see any advantages. Maybe you can also answer that one.
Yeah, yes, it's true. Of course, it's a better way to edit it in the authoring software. But sometimes, in some circumstances, I don't know, if you, for example, deliver your documentation to the stakeholder and they don't have any software that they can use. So with these principles, they can usually pound some values, change it. Of course, it's the post-processing. And I totally agree. It's the best is to have the proper procedures at the very beginning and make the export as best as possible. But in some cases, it could be needed. But also this short lesson, I had like 5 to 15 minutes to show you this topic. I want to just show you the principles, how it's really baked into the file. So if you have an entity and you have a property set, you have to then think about how it's linked together. And of course, this also can open some maybe another concept or another way of implementing it. So my idea was just to give you the short introduction to the mechanism that it's used, but of course, you can do it in many different ways. And there is also automation tools. For example, in workshop 5, I would like to show how you can attach tons of information using the spreadsheet and ChatGPT. So I think this will be also very nice to follow, to see how you can automate this type of processes instead of punching manually, because of course it could take here 5 minutes. Doing the same, I can use 5 minutes, but attach, for example, 1,000 properties to the object with ChatGPT.
And about the IFC structure, Simon asked for the explanation why different softwares show different model tree of IFC.
Yes, so this is also depending on which software you use. And from my experience, I know that the project structure could be shown differently because there is tools that having also own names for some specific objects, like or they try to, for example, gather some objects in the containers, or they add extra layer. Like I know that there is a software, I don't want to name it now, but for example, adding extra let's say, a node called infrastructure, and this node doesn't exist, but someone who is not fluent in IFC could interpret this wrong. So yes, this is all depends on the software. Another software using IFC or converting IFC to their native format for this, for example, resolution purposes for better performance. And this new format also have some mapping between IFC in the native, so they are showing slightly different object definitions. So it's all depending on how you really, where you open the file. And this is also what I want to show in the workshop, the first workshop, in the last part, free IFC viewers, where I will elaborate on some my beloved, or no, the best tools I use daily. Also, and I will try to convince you why I think these tools are quite, as I can say, powerful in their domain. So yeah, just please follow the next workshop, and you will definitely also know real examples and some advantages and disadvantages.
In the meantime, we got lots of good comments. Yes, respect, guys, for making chronologically and clear. The workshop was perfect. I really like all these comments. Konrad Fugas, maybe you can answer, will we cover BSDD in the workshop?
We will cover just some. I mean, we will explain it, and we will show how it works. But we decided not to jump very deep into BSDD. But yeah, it will be covered. You will understand the principles and how it combines with the OpenBIM workflow.
Mm-hmm.
I can just comment on that. I will, for example, also in first workshop, explain how it's connected to IFC, because it's not. We also need to know the mechanism, how it's connected. So this will be also covered in the first workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Marcin, maybe you have the answer about point clouds. Which is the best way to connect point cloud with project and export to the IFC? Do you have any experience on that?
Yeah, this is actually this is ongoing topic, and point cloud, it's not yet properly stored or properly read with the point, because I have some ideas in my mind, but I never found the real file containing that. So there is some software that could combine point cloud and IFC together, but I think you are thinking more about point cloud. And when you just look at the schema and IFC step physical file, when you open it and imagine that each point should be represented by one line, so I assume that this file could be so big and maybe not really handy to work with. So I don't know if the IFC 4 and 4.3 is still capable to store that amount of information. This could cause a problem. So I will not suggest to use IFC to store the point cloud, to be honest.
Of course, we have some workarounds. In one project, we had to include a point cloud of terrain in our 3D model. I just simply changed this point cloud into a mesh and exported to, for example, Tekla or Revit, and then exported as an object. So, of course, there are some workarounds, but as a Marcin, there is no native solution for that one. Let me see. Do we have any more? Okay, Marcin, you can get this one.
What is the difference between IFC 5 and how much time do we have?
But please, in short, like really
so
short.
Very short. We have IFC 2x3, 4, and 4x3 written in a step physical format. This is the step. This is the some way of storing the information in file. IFC5 will use the JSON and also will have some connection with the new abbreviation USD, Universal Standard Definitions, or will be kind of using the terms. So the architecture will be different. The purpose will be the same. The idea is to also make it simpler, because IFC is a huge piece of the standard and you have to understand a lot of concepts. IFC5 will be very simple, very possible to manipulate very easily by anyone, and all instances, all objects will be kind of linked together. And then, for example, one IFC 4.3, 2x3 or 4, it operates as a one file. IFC 5 could be combined from few files. That, for example, one file describing elevation, another structure, one another something like plumbing, and they could be combined, and because of the JSON language that it's the core of it. So this is the architecture is different, but in theory it should be also possible to write information from IFC 4.3 in 5 and backwards, but not all the concepts. So there will be some limitation back and forward.
Okay, cool. As you can see and hear, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's really into IFC. And Konrad, have you been using BIM Collab Zoom? Can you validate IDS there?
Actually, I'm not sure if BIM Collab Zoom validates IDS. I know it is a validation software, but yeah, Ignacy knows BIM Collab Zoom better than I do, but he is not with us now. But yeah, we can. I can check it and answer in the the comments afterwards.
Let's do it. Is there this workflow fleet? Does the company needs to subscribe to any product in addition to Revit? If you have Revit, so it's already half of the way. We are going to show free softwares as well. So to the whole workflow, if you have already Revit, in my opinion, you don't need any more software.
Yeah, I've just checked, and they claim to validate IDS, BIM Collab Zoom. So, yeah.
Okay. What about Bonsai for IDS?
Yes, Bonsai has the module to check IDS, and we with Ignacy are discussing whether we should show it in our workshop. So if there is interest into seeing how it can work with IDS, then yeah, write us an email and let us know that you are interested in Bonsai, so we can also include it.
Mm-hmm. Here we have really technical question, guys. You can just take a look and maybe you can answer that one. Konrad, maybe you have any ideas about this one, about property set parameter?
Maybe it's just idea how to solve the issue that maybe Ignacy was explained.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's true. Sorry, he already explained to Irina that one. Okay, sorry for that one. If we haven't answered your question, please let us know. We have still some minutes. It's already 2.5 hours and already 70 people still with us on YouTube and still watching on LinkedIn is amazing. For you who are still with us, you can please check out the calendar of our next workshops. You can join there at BIM Corner IFC-masterclass. You can join all these 5 workshops. We are happy to already announce that we have already people signing up already during that one. We haven't announced that earlier. This is the first announcement. So thanks for trusting us and already paying for next workshops. Actually, we are doing that for the first time. We've been sharing our knowledge for free. And now we are creating this project to cover costs of the BIM Corner blog. So there is no plan that we personally, we are taking benefits of this project. This time will be to cover the expenses connected to hosting, to mailing, to all the database that we are paying. So maybe for the first time in the history, in the 6 years, we are not going to pay for our private packet. I hope so. You can see if there are any more questions. No, guys, I think it was all for today. Thank you very much. I hope to see you on the next workshops. We are promised to deliver even more content. Thank you, Marcin. Thank you, Konrad Fugas, and thank you, Konrad Naborczyk. It was a pleasure to do this workshop with you, and I think we deliver good content. Yeah. So last words from you.
Thank you guys for staying with us for 2.5 hour technical talk about OpenBIM. It's amazing. I really hope to see many of you on the next workshop, diving even deeper into OpenBIM aspects. And thanks, Chris, for hosting this and getting good questions and everything in place.
Thank you. Marcin, I think that this comment is for you. Please start a BIM podcast. And I think it is for you. Podcasts are the
favorite tool of Marcin.
In podcast, you can just talk and talk for hours and people going to listen. So I think this is the product that Marcin's going to release soon. Would you like to add something, Marcin?
Yes, so thank you guys for spending time with us. I see some people still watching, so it's incredible. So this is thumbs up for you guys. Thank you so much, and hopefully see you soon. And hopefully I will have, even if we say 90 minutes, hopefully I can have more minutes to go deeper in all details I want to explain in the workshop first workshop.
And Konrad, last words, and maybe some recommendation why people should join next workshops.
Yeah, from my side, I can just repeat what I said in the beginning, that this workshop is not only for engineers, not only for designers, it's for everybody in the AEC industry. It's also for contractors as myself, also for the clients to set up correct requirements and to understand the whole workflow. So in the end, we want everybody to understand the OpenBIM, and this is the main reason why we created this series of workshops.
Thank you very much. I'm going to repeat for the last time. Visit bimcorner.com/IFC and masterclass and join for next workshop. It will be going to be fun. Julia just wrote that we have really nice t-shirts. So guys, we can present our BIM Corner. Maybe if we are going, we should have something like for the next time. BIM there, done that. Maybe we should make also next time any announcement or maybe some lottery of the t-shirts. So finally, BIM Corner for the first time earned already some money. We have already something, so maybe we can from this one we can maybe invest in some t-shirts and give to our subscribers. Let us know if you will be interested. Maybe creating a BIM Corner shop. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, with cups and shirts and everything.
But
Okay.
also, this is great that you mentioned that. This is, guys, this is really the cost that we want to spend on the blog to also have a better content, better pictures, better videos, better podcasts, maybe. So this is just to invest in the community you are building with us.
Yeah, I see already that you are really interested in this podcast. Okay, thank you very much. Have fun, and yeah, we really recommend if you are seeing BIM Corner for the first time, go and check articles, and for sure you're going to learn more about IFC and OpenBIM. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
See you.